Lux is the illegitimate son of the Arcadia Emperor. He and his mother got banished from the Empire and everyone refused to save her life. Lux, alone, filled with rage, destroyed his father's empire in one night. But now, he must hide his powers to avoid being punished for the destruction he caused. Our story begins when the monsters called Abyss were released into the world. Humans almost lost their hope, but managed to create some special armor to defend themselves. Until one day, someone appears wearing black armor and single-handedly destroys a corrupt empire. 5 years later, we meet our black hero, protagonist, Lux Arcadia, who is currently arrested. After the Empire's downfall, he and his sister Eri were captured because they were the illegitimate children of the former emperor. The new kingdom, now called Astamata, decided to pardon them by giving them the task to pay 10 billion yen. Therefore, from now on he must perform odd jobs to get enough money and pay the debt, while his sister is held hostage at the Royal Officer Academy. His first task as the kingdom's new, let's say, forced handyman is to catch a cat who stole a purse. Payment isn't great, but at least it's honest work. But he ends up falling into the academy's girls' bathroom, and since he cannot do much to justify himself, he simply starts complimenting them. He gets escorted to the principal's office, who forgives him because she recognizes him as the former prince of the Empire of Arcadia. Furthermore, her younger sister, Fluffy, this cutie, is his childhood friend, so we safe boy. But yeah, the principal wants to request him to work for the academy, claiming he's a valuable asset, as the only man in an all-women's school. Not going to lie, seems sus. Well, this school is a school for drag knights, but most guys who can pilot it ended up dead 5 years ago. So it's an all-girl school, until this moment, as our boy could be helpful in creating a harem, an army of girls. But Lisesharte, the current princess, heir to the new empire of Astamata, and one of Lux's victims last night, disagrees with the principal's proposal. So she challenges Lux to a drag knight duel. If he wins, he gets in. If he loses, he gets to enjoy the sun from the window of a prison cell. Without many options, Lux agrees and they fight. Students are going absolutely bonkers, especially since the current Empire's princess is fighting against the former Empire's prince. Without wasting any time, Lisesharte gets her drag ride out called Tiamat, which is like divine rank armor. But our boy Lux is on a whole new level. He summons his wyvern, which literally came out of a cereal box. Yes, it's cheap, and it's a budget version, but it's honest. Lisesharte takes the initiative, but Lux dodges all her attacks until he can't. Mid-fight, Lux apologizes about the bath incident. It's not his fault she's flat. But Lisesharte takes offense and unleashes a massive railgun beam that destroys the protective barrier. She then follows up with her ultimate, the power of Newton and falling apples, gravity, which drains her stamina and she almost loses control. But things start to get green as an abyss shows up, causing mass panic amongst the crowd. The monster attacks. Lux has to block it with his poor quality drag ride, saving Lisesharte. Lux then asks Lisesharte to shoot the abyss down while he distracts it. With Lux's excellent piloting skills, he manages to lure the abyss into getting sniped by Lisesharte, saving the day. After the fight, Lisesharte thanks him for saving her and allows him to enter the school. The next day, Lux visits Lisesharte, who has just finished repairing his drag knight. Lisesharte reveals that she was a captive of the new empire, as her father was part of the coup d'etat. She was captured and marked as part of the former empire when the coup succeeded. But then, she decides to join the new empire, mainly as a puppet princess. The next day, Lux is asked to assist the Knights Squadron, an elite group, who set out to intercept a large force of Abyss. Upon reaching there, he finds Regreed, a captain for the former Imperial Knights Squadron who wants to kill Lisesharte and restore the empire. Lux stops him from killing her and activates his second drag knight, revealing that he is the legendary black hero, the one who single-handedly destroyed 12 of the Empire's machine dragons. With a single move, he destroys Regreed and his army of Abyss monsters. That night, the principal gives him a flute they retrieved from Regreed. She adds that he was using the flute to control the abyss, and it seems like it was recovered in the ruins from which the abyss originated. Meanwhile, he accepts a paid request from Chronicle. Look at this cutie. His job is to pretend to be her boyfriend for a week. She's a daughter of the count in another country, and another noble wants to marry her. So she wants to fool her family and avoid marriage while her butler watches her dating the former prince. The next day, Lux and Chronicle go on a date, but they're attacked by the remaining rebels, trying to take them hostage. Chronicle transforms into Wise Blood while Lux covers for her. and she takes them out, revealing her skill can predict the future. The next day, they are set to investigate the Abyss ruins. However, the one leading the expedition is the one who wants to marry Krulsifer. Krulsifer takes the initiative, entering headfirst into the unknown ruins. Everyone follows her, but Diabolos, a brute version of the regular Abyss monsters, appears and starts wreaking havoc. The knights start intercepting the Diabolos, but the prince finishes off the monsters after following up Krulsifer's ice cannon, flexing whatever screen time he has left. Then when Krulsifer is about to finish the monster, suddenly she can't use her powers. The monster pops a good one, but Lux saves her. Finally, the prince finishes off the beast. As the Diabolos explodes, everyone finds themselves inside the ruins. Lux wakes up with Krulsifer to investigate the ruins further. He asks the reason why Krulsifer is adamant about finding the Black Hero. She responds that the Black Hero might not have a limit in using his drag ride, just like her. Upon arriving at the altar, Krulsifer activates the key and a door opens. She reveals that she's not from the human world, but rather a survivor of the ruins, its inhabitant. To go deeper into the ruins, Krulsifer reveals she was found by the kinfolk family. Lux then tells about his past and how Philippi saved him and his sister. Him, his sister, and his mother were banished from the imperial family. In the end, while traveling, their carriage fell from a cliff and his mother died. He begged the commoners for help, but they refused due to his status. If not for Philippi, he would fall into hatred and kill everyone in the empire. They return to the academy, and Lux is dead asleep while Krulsifer fights the prince and the butler, because they plan to eliminate Lux. But when the prince is about to finish her off, he reveals that he was the one who ordered the other guys to attack them, and that he plans a rebellion. Lux appears in his black armor to fight for her. He discovers the prince's ability to steal others' powers and gets his power stolen. They engage in a fight once again, and Lux's energy gets depleted. Krulsifer doesn't understand why he came back and begs him to leave. Upon seeing her tears, Lux claims she's his girlfriend and uses his hidden ability. However, before leaving, the prince informs Lux that Ragnarok will be revived soon. It's some sort of giant octopus, which you'll see later, warning him that he won't be able to stop it by relying on Bahamut alone. A few days later, and everyone's pretty stressed about knowing the existence of the Ragnarok. But the Triad informs Lux that there's someone who can 1v1 the Ragnarok. Her name is Celestia Ralgris. According to them, she's the top-ranking Drag Knight in the Academy, and the leader of the Knights Squadron. But she's pretty much against joining the school, which she found out after coming from a long mission. So the principal is like, hey, why don't we settle yet another duel? Surely, nothing bad will happen, just like the last time, right? And so, Lux and Celestia accept. The battle of the weakest undefeated versus the strongest independent woman begins. As a handicap, Lux uses his wyvern against Celestia's lindworm. Lux blocks Celestia's attack and uses recoil burst to charge towards Celestia. But her special ability is teleportation, flanking Lux, who is fully exposed. However, giant tentacles start sprouting from the ground, damaging Celestia's drag ride. Celestia tries to hero her way into the octopus, but she's that strong and independent as she thought. Although she manages to injure the monster, she's completely drained, and Lux has to assist her. At that moment, another member of the Academy, Sania, reveals herself. The same girl who's trying to turn Celestia into a men-hater. She's a spy for another country and is working with the other guy over there playing another flute, who Lux recognizes as Fugil, one of his supposed dead brothers. 5 years ago, Fugil was the one he colluded with to destroy the Empire. But Fugil betrays him and kills everyone, despite Lux's pleas to not do it. Also, Fugil used his powers to delete some of Lux's memories, but it's not the right time yet. Fugil revives the giant octopus that was killed moments ago. Sania tries to kill the shocked Celestia, but Lux can't have that. We need to waifu her. The octopus starts shooting his weird bombs. Lux transforms into his Bahamut mode, the Black Hero, and takes Sania's robotic arm off. He uses his amazing speed to cut throughout every tentacle on his way, just like a sushi chef. Celestia sneaks up on Sania, but in the end, can't kill her. Meanwhile, Lux finally kills the octopus while pretending to be a bullet hitting someone's head. And then the flute haver reveals herself as Hayes, not Fugil, which is still the same because she's also his sister. Hayes and Sania flee the scene but warn them they will be back for more. That night, Celestia thanks Lux for helping her out. Later that night, giant whale-like ruins appear outside their quarters, and the principal tells everyone alright, the tutorial is over, kids. Everyone in the squadron enters the ruins to investigate. Upon inspecting the ruins, they find a child sleeping beneath a concrete pile. Chronicle touches the child, and it turns out she's an android-like guardian of the ruins, recognizing Chronicle as an administrator. They call everyone to their location and think about opening up one of the doors leading deeper into the dungeon. However, during the investigation, Philippi experiences headaches and turns on and off like an outdated iPhone. Over time, Philippi's headaches become severe, telling Lux that something's coming. A Diabolos appears and attacks one of their members. Lux duels the Diabolos and gets a call that there are 3 Diabolos on the loose. Their mission is to stop them from further disrupting their investigation. However, Philippi rushes to the next altar and Lux follows her. He asks if she's been to the island before, but Philippi doesn't tell him anything. When arriving at the exit, the two find themselves outside and Lux unlocks a core memory of the past. A Diabolos appears and sends Philippi flying inside a ruined church. Lux finishes off the Diabolos and goes inside the ruined church to find Philippi. Inside, he finds the place used to be a former human experimentation lab of the Arcadian Empire, and Philippi was one of the subjects of the experiments. Wait for it, just wait. While exploring the rooms, he finds Philippi in a corner, but she strangles him, and it turns out she's an abyss. Well, short story, she died 5 years ago, and the Empire got a way to revive her as an abyss. That's why her sister, the principal, is desperate to search the ruins, because there must be a way to return her back to normal and save her life. That's why our boy is so important, because not only he's a strong, charming prince, but he's also her crush. Hayes suddenly appears and informs Lux that Philippi is under her control using some sort of abyss seed. She explains Philippi will die soon, because she's been refusing to follow the Flute's orders to kill him. Therefore, they strike a deal. She will spare Philippi if Lux opens the ruins for her. Do you remember Chronicle? Yes, she's the only one who can open it. She's the only one standing between keeping a waifu or losing her. She agrees thou, and let's open the cracking door in the deepest part of the ruins. Just tell me in the comments, which one is your favorite waifu? Continuing, there, they find out the android girl. Turns out she is a guardian, and its task is to kill the ruins intruders. A fight emerges as Hayes appears again, controlling both the android and Philippi. Lux enters his Bahamut, taking on the possessed Philippi and the ruins' defenses together. By the way, Philippi's ability is to make anyone disabled. Well, not everyone, just their abilities. Hayes uses her crystal ball to summon another Ragnarok. Lux and his harem take on the monster, but the monster gets stronger every time he gets hit, so yeah. Lux starts to get flashbacks to when Fugel betrayed him, telling that he's a foolish, weak and naive boy. He will never change, his ideals are empty, and he cannot protect anybody. He gets restrained by the Ragnarok that starts absorbing his powers. But Philippi, who returned to normal, starts tearing up, asking Lux to stop fighting for others and hurting himself. You need to fight for yourself, she says. His eyes get filled with a new determination. He raises his head and unlocks his absolute power. Using his unreachable speed, he cuts throughout the Ragnarok, even destroying the ruins. Fugel, who's actually alive, appears and convinces Hayes to retreat. The Ragnarok is defeated, and Hayes retreats. Later, Lux wakes up with Philippi by his side. Finally, Philippi is free of the abyss controls, and she finally joins Lux's ever-growing harem. Some days later, Lux and Eri get approached by Yoruka, a prisoner who escaped the prison and decides to pledge her loyalty to Lux. He's like, let me think, but let's meet at night. They meet at night and she asks him, so what's the plan? Well, this girl thinks he's pretending to help everyone, but in reality, he wants to overtake the kingdom. I mean, he's the son of the old emperor, and he's powerful. Imagine how many girls he could have. Yeah boy, she's so wrong. He already is the king of his own harem. Talking about them, they appear to save him, but gets smashed and Yoruka leaves. The next day, Lux gets assigned by the great nobles to become bait. It seems like the rebel army and the abyss will attack soon, and therefore, he will become their ultimate weapon. At night, Lux wakes up to the sound of the enemy attack. The new Imperial Army's unit was wiped out. One of the dying troops informs him that the main army is retreating to the Cross Field, the new Empire's capital, which will be the next battleground. But before he can head there, the Regret appears again. How the hell is this guy still alive? Producer, hello, just let him die. Seems like he can't. He decided to become the next emperor and refuses to die. But Lux then senses the ground shaking, despite being mid-air, and he sees a giant automaton with a stupid amount of city-destroying cannons. Lux enters his attack mode and starts destroying the rebels one by one. But the Regret cuts his Metabot arm off, thinking it is the Bahamut. But oh boy, he's very wrong. Lux decided to give his out-of-cereal box wyvern a new paint job, and turns out he chose black. Lux finally unleashes the real Bahamut and completely annihilates the rebel armies in one go before heading to the front lines of Crossfields. Lux asks Lisesharte's assistance as they are about to do one of the sickest wombo combo to mop the floor with the giant's head. After disabling the giant, another threat appears, and it's Hayes in her drag ride suit. Hayes orders her bot to annihilate the new empire using a large laser beam attached to the giant warrior. But Yoruka, who apparently works for Hayes, betrays her and destroys the control module, disabling the giant automaton and the weapon altogether. Hayes realizes she's been betrayed and decides to do this, destroying Lisesharte's drag ride. Lux uses this as a distraction to get behind her and end Hayes' domestic terrorism once and for all. With this victory, Lisesharte formally announces her ascension as the new queen, and introduces Lux Arcadia as the new king.